Hi everyone, welcome back to Brain Dump. I'm Kai. Just want to remind you once again that I am not a mental health professional. I'm just a severely depressed 20-year-old, and I enjoy learning the psychology behind the things that we do. Was that good? I'm trying to have a good intro because this podcast gets at least 200 listens a week, which is crazy, and I greatly appreciate. I don't know who's taking the time out of their day to listen to me talk, but if you're one of those people, thank you. Because this podcast is definitely one of my favorite parts of the week. But I'm realizing that sometimes I just jump into the episode without really explaining what this is. And Spotify has some sort of algorithm going on, and I want to make sure I have a solid intro. So today we're going to be talking about intentions. The first thing that made me think of this topic for this episode was actually listening back to one of my very first episodes, which is almost a year ago. That's crazy. Anyway, in that episode that I listened to, I was talking about social media, and I said social media is bad for your mental health. And yes, there have been scientific studies that have proven that, but it's not social media that's causing the harm. It's how you ingest it. It's about your intentions when you're on the app. If you intend to send hate comments or doom scroll or obsess over other people, you're going to have an unhealthy relationship with social media. Setting your intentions with anything that you do will force you to take a step back and see how your thoughts and emotions can be impacting how you use that certain thing. You have to ask yourself questions like, why do I have this? Why do I do this? Maybe you have a problem with drugs, alcohol, gambling, sex, porn, shoplifting. I know those things aren't the same as social media, but the one thing that they all have in common is that they're extremely addictive. Social media was created to be a tool, and for a long time I didn't utilize it as a tool. I utilized it as an extremely unhealthy behavior I had in my life. And social media is only harmful to your mental health if you let it be. I'm going to share some things that I've had to start doing since I re-downloaded Instagram. That's the only social media I have now. And there are things that I just do out of habit. Like, my old habit with Instagram was doom scrolling and obsessing over other people. I've since then replaced that habit with turning my notifications off. Instagram has this thing called quiet mode. It's extremely helpful. I set a screen limit to 30 minutes a day, and I log out of my account every time before I close the app. That last one is really important. When I would stay logged into Instagram, I would see the app on my home screen. Since then, I've moved Instagram off of my home screen, because I didn't know you could just remove apps from the home screen and you just don't have to see it, but it's still downloaded. That's nice. But anyway, I would just see it and I would open it and start scrolling on my feed, which is fine, but I noticed myself getting sidetracked from things that I was doing like school, and I shut that down real quick. I'm able to recognize those unhealthy behaviors now, so every time I'm done with a little Instagram session, I log out before I close the app. That way, maybe when I go to quickly scroll on my feed, it has me log in. And let me tell you, I don't have a password on my phone, and without a password, they don't let you use Face ID. And without Face ID, I have to type in all my passwords. It's so nice on my Mac, I have my fingerprint to enter all my passcodes, but on my phone, I gotta type in that 16-digit passcode myself, and at that point, I forgot why I even wanted to open the app. That's way too much work. Without the intention of obsessing over other people and comparing myself, it doesn't take me long to get my social media fixed for the day. That was my own toxic habit, just comparing myself and obsessing, but I'm really glad that I don't do that anymore. I also just wanted to talk about intentions in general. Sometimes when someone does a quote-unquote bad thing, we automatically think that they did it on purpose and that they had the worst intentions. And for some people, that's the case. Some people purposefully bring other people down, and that's just unhealed trauma, but intention is such an important thing to understand before you judge a situation. Most of the time, whether you want to believe it or not, people have good intentions. When I was growing up, I was surrounded by the bad intentions of my father. Him drinking irresponsibly in front of his children, him turning off the power to my brother's bedroom when he was 12 because he knew he was scared of the dark, when he would turn off the data to me and my siblings' phone for hours on end just to have the control, because he pays the bills and we have to remember that. I would see him be unfaithful to my mom. The list just goes on. And so I was constantly witnessing someone that had bad intentions, so I thought everyone did. After years of therapy and just life experience, I know now that most people are just trying their best. Most people are trying to get by, and if they did a shitty thing, there was probably a reason behind it. No one wakes up and wants to do shitty things. But most people don't care to ask for that person's side of the story. Even if your intentions are misguided, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have bad intentions. Sometimes we just have clouded judgment, and some things are circumstantial. I think that knowing your values and your morals is extremely important to help you make those hard decisions in your life. And knowing what you're intending to do with this behavior that you're about to go through with is also important. As long as you know that you have good intentions, inner peace will fall in line. For a long time, I looked back on my past mistakes and I thought that I had terrible intentions because I thought that I was a terrible person, but I was simply trying my best to keep waking up every day. And in that time, I was selfish, and I acknowledge that. And I hurt a lot of people. I'll acknowledge that. But at the end of the day, I never intended to hurt anyone. I had all good intentions. And that's just the fact. And some people just aren't going to see that. If you think about it, our intentions hold a lot of power, and I think that self-awareness plays a huge part in that. Intentions do matter. If someone hurts me out of malice, then I'm going to be a hell of a lot angrier than if they did it by accident. If you hurt someone without meaning to, you still owe them an apology. And if you refuse to give them one, that's just asshole behavior. If I accidentally step on your foot, I'm not going to refuse to say I'm sorry just because I didn't intend to do it. I still did it. Your pain is still real. Imagine you're driving and someone jumps right in front of your car. You have no time to stop and now you've killed this person. People that don't think that intentions matter believe that you deserve the same punishment as someone who intentionally kills someone, which is crazy. When I'm doing episodes like this, I look on Reddit and see what other people have to say about this topic, and a lot of people were saying intentions don't even matter. And it's like, yes, they do. But good intentions can only reach so far. So be nice. Try not to have malintent. We're only here on Earth for so long. So, yeah. That's today's episode. Today's Mother's Day, and it's been really good. Spent some time with my family, and it's nice because when I was growing up, my dad, used the excuse of, "You're not my mother," to my mom. And so he never celebrated my mom as a mother, the mother of his 3 children. But, yeah, just growing up seeing him saying, "You're not my mom, I don't have to celebrate you." And now my mom's boyfriend is, praising her. And it makes me so happy to see my mom getting the love that she deserves. And I'm really fucking happy for her. She had to go through so much bullshit to get here. And I'm so proud of her. I really am. She's, the strongest person I know. Anyway, okay, sorry, getting a little emotional. Oh yeah, in other news, I didn't get that job that I interviewed for. The interview went really well. I got to sit in with a couple of the kids at the center and got to sit in with one of the RBTs and talk to them. So it was a good learning experience, but I didn't get the job. But in good news, I do have an interview for another behavioral technician job at a center that's way closer to my house. I'm talking 2 miles away from my house. So, I don't know, the universe does crazy things, and maybe I wasn't supposed to get that other one because this one's meant to be. But who knows? We'll see. I will keep you guys posted. But yeah, womp womp. I didn't get the job. It's okay. Summer classes start tomorrow, and I'm excited. I'm taking Survey to U.S. History 2111, The Psychology of Abnormal Behavior 2102, ? And then I'm taking Spanish 1102. Alright, let's get into the books of the week. I'm currently reading this book called Livewired, The Inside Story of the Ever-Changing Brain by David Eagleman. This one, it's basically self-explanatory. It's in the title. It's about our brain and how it's ever-changing. It's good. I really like it so far. I think I'm only 25 pages in, though. There's also 2 other books I read this week. The Coworker by Frida McFadden. That book was excellent. And then I read The Talented Mr. Ripley by Patricia Highsmith. This is because Leve has a book club, and she has, a book of the month, and that's what it is for May. It was a short read, but it kept me very intrigued the whole time. I love reading. I really do. I never loved reading in high school. When I was a kid, I loved to read. I would read every single day. There's so many pictures of me in my childhood home just reading in awkward positions on the couch. In high school, I knew that I was going to be graded on what I was reading, and now I just read things that I find interesting, and I know I'm not going to be graded on it, and I love it. Songs of the week: Sheep by Mount Joy, Take a Bite by Biba Doobie, Give it up for Biba Doobie! Okay. People Pleaser by Black Pontiac. Bags by Clairo, but the one that's recorded at the Electric Lady Studios. Great version of that song. And then So High School by Taylor Swift. Thank you for listening. I appreciate you hanging out with me today. Remember that you're loved, you're valued, you're appreciated, and have good intentions. It doesn't hurt. It literally doesn't hurt anyone. Okay. I love you. Goodbye.